I know your story. You were in high school or you're in your early 20s and you're starting to say, oh man, I think I'm losing my hair. Sounds familiar because it's your story. It's true. Why else would you be watching this video if that wasn't true? So again, you're in your teenage years, you're in high school, or you're in your early 20s, you're in college, and you're noticing the first signs of hair loss. And maybe you've mentioned it to your mom. And what does your mom say? Oh, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. You're not going to lose your hair. I'm sure you'll have full head of hair well into your 40s or 50s, because that's what moms say, right? But don't you want someone like me? Am I like an uncle? I don't know. I'm 36, so what would that make me to you? Don't you want someone who's going to be honest with you? See, that's how I am. I know that I can be a bit stern. Some people might call it tough love. But see, the way I look at it, I respect you. I respect you enough to be honest with you and real about you and help you actually get through this. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not here to make anybody feel bad about themselves. I'm here to help build people up from within by embracing this and coming up with a plan. You gotta have a plan. You don't want to be like that Beatles song, Nowhere Man. You don't want to be like that, right? So let's just get through this, the basics of this right here. If you're watching this video, you're likely a Norwood 1, 2, or 3. Let's briefly talk about what that means. When I turned 17, looking back on pictures I didn't know at the time, I was beginning Norwood 1, which Norwood 1 means that your temples start going back. Your hairline's still straight across, but your temples are going back like this. That's Norwood 1. But then Norwood 2 is when your hairline goes up in the corners and it forms ultimately like this V. And then eventually when you get to where I am, you have kind of a island, but it's actually rounded off like that. So ultimately it's like a Mickey Mouse, or it's like a letter M or something like that. So I'm Norwood 3. So the first thing I want to suggest, if you are in your 20s or 30s and you're thinking, oh no, what do I do? I'm losing my hair. I don't know what to do. Well, first of all, recognize where you are and what I just said. Are you just seeing it on the sides, or are you seeing it in the corners too, where it's forming a V, or are you seeing more of the 3 or the island, as I said? If you're beyond that, you're probably not watching this video because you're probably watching somebody else talking about how to deal with that. This is mainly for guys that are Norwood 1, 2, or 3 and that are in their teenage years or early 20s. That's most of when who's gonna be watching my video. So what do you do? What do you do? Do you freak out? Maybe do it first, and that's natural, that's understandable. But you can't freak out forever, right? So let's come up with some ideas on what you can do about this. I've made other videos that talk about how, well, for one, you can have a hairstyle where it kind of keeps things vague. You know, it's not short on the sides, it's not too long on the top either, but it just keeps people from really thinking about it. No one would ever think, oh yeah, that guy's got something to cover up, because I'm an interesting guy, and that's important too. But if you can grow a beard, do that too. It'll help you feel more confident in yourself. It'll keep you from overthinking this. Okay, so those are some things that are important. It's also very important to focus on your identity. Now is the time to be building your identity. So much of self-esteem and confidence issues are based on a person not knowing who they are. Let me give you an example of that. I'm someone who's impossible to offend. No one can hurt my feelings because I don't let them. I control my emotions alone. But I didn't just wake up one day and become that way. Instead, over time, or learning the hard way, I realized that it took me to age 34 before I had enough of an understandable identity in who I was, with or without hair. So now I know, for example, what are your skills? What do you know a lot about anyway? What's your knowledge and your physical skills? What are you good at? And then from there, build on the fact that, how are your people skills though? Are you good at talking to people to the point where you're good at making other people feel good about themselves? See, that's a little secret in life. The way you get ahead in life is you make other people feel good about themselves. And I don't mean simple flattery, but truly fundamentally building people up. Making it obvious that they do matter, because so many people are not confident. So even if you're not confident yourself, but you're making other people feel good about themselves for who they really are, not just, hey, nice shirt. I mean, that's a good start, but you know what I always like about you? I've always noticed There you go. Where it's more about their character and their identity, and it's a positive thing. See, that goes a long ways. That makes people like you, with or without hair. And see, I couldn't focus on those things when I was young. I didn't understand that that's when you have a true identity and knowing your skill set and knowing what you're good at talking about, and how you can build up other people, and therefore you can be kind and caring and understanding. That's identity. That's identity. Like, so I have that, and so therefore, anytime anyone attacks me, my identity's not under attack because I know who I am. I know that I'm a flawed person. I'm not some perfect movie star with the perfect head of hair, and I accept that, and I'm not striving for that. I want to be normal, but I want to use who I am in the inside to overcome hair loss. And I know it may be hard to hear this because you're so much younger than me, and it's not legitimate when you're hearing it from someone who's twice your age and married and has 2 kids and all that stuff. But look beyond that. I'm asking you to have enough confidence to look beyond that and think, if I had my eyes closed and I didn't know this guy, and I imagine him as 23 years old and with a shaved head because he was completely bald on top, would what he is saying right now still hold as much weight? Can you do that? Can you have enough confidence to think that way? Because sometimes you're told the truth, but you don't hear it as truth because it comes from the wrong person. And the person doesn't look like the way you need them to look like. Because in theory, what I say is more legitimate if I am completely bald and much younger, right? Like Max da Silva, he'd be the prime example of that. And I'm sure he's great, right? He's a real person, by the way. But then there's people like me. And I'm going to show you some stuff that he can't show you because I still have hair and I'm still in this kind of awkward process of, I'm not bald, I haven't lost enough hair to shave my hair off yet, but still I can help people. So if you like what you've heard today, I've got plenty more because this is pretty much what I do on my channel here. So I'm Nick Shell. All I ever talk about on this channel is hair loss, and I'm here to help you. I'm here to guide you. I'm here to mentor you. I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I'm here to actually help you, kind of give you tips, not only how to do some of this stuff, but more importantly, how to do this stuff and this stuff. That's no, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like your brain and your heart, and to build them up. If I can do it, you can do it at a much younger age. It took me to age 34 to get to where I am. You wouldn't have wanted me to be making videos before that. So good for you. You're young. You can learn this now, and you can be much further ahead in life than I was at an earlier age, even if you have less hair than I do. Thanks for watching my video. I hope this helps. And if not, if there's more that I can add, just put in the comments. I'm very much of a responsive YouTuber. I love responding to what people have to say. It helps us all. We're all part of this story. And I think it comes to life when you have a question or story and I can share that with everybody else. It helps us all, because in the real world, we can't talk about hair loss. People will just say, oh, get over yourself. Just shave your head and get it over with. Nobody cares. Why do you care so much about your hair? See, I'm not that way. I'm not judgmental like that. I say I accept you, and I know what you're going through, maybe not to the same extent, but I understand. We can't talk about this in real life. But here, you're safe. This is a safe place. We can talk about hair loss.